Welcome in, Tyler. My name is Katie, and what I've been commissioned for is to give you the confidence to make sure that you are making the proper decision for who you are as a person, not based on what your friends expect from you, not based on how you were raised, but truly you at the core. So, really, what we're coming here today to talk about is how do I know I'm making the right decision? So, let's talk about that. I'm going to walk through a three-part process here with you today. Part one is what is human design. Part two is how do you say your yes and no. And part three, I'm just going to give a little bit of extra as well. So I'm just playing with this in my hand so that I can keep focus instead of have my thoughts go a million different places. Okay, so let's talk about part one. What is human design? Human design, in my opinion, is the only thing that I've ever found out there that teaches you how to say your proper yes and no for who you are as a person. And it allows you to understand who you are at the deepest levels. Why would we want to know that information? Well, if you understand how to say your yes and no and properly follow it, then you're going to allow your purpose to flow through you. Well, big words thrown out. I know. And your purpose is right here. The incarnation cross, the right angle cross of service, 1817, 52, 58. We're not going to talk about your purpose today, but human design ultimately allows you to talk about, ultimately, human design allows you to understand how your energy works for you, how you say your yes and no. And once you begin to listen to that, follow it, you're going to allow your purpose to flow through you with each decision that you make. Yeah, so that's human design, your energetic blueprints, or another way we can describe it is that we are raised in a society, well, firstly in a classroom, where we're all expected to be the same student and keep our busy bodies quiet. And, once we get out of school, we move out of our parents' house, we're like, yeah, we're free. No, we're not. We have to listen to the laws of life and, be a decent human being. Our bosses expect us to act a certain way. And even if you're your own boss, you expect yourself to act a certain way for your clients. And so do your clients. They expect you to act a certain way. So we do, including myself. So what we're doing here with human design is just coming back to who you truly are before society told you what was correct in a particular situation. That's human design, explained in a multitude of ways. Okay, part two is already up. How do you say your particular yes and no for you? Well, here in this section, it's going to be a two-part experience. So part two is two parts. Well, I just want to mention to you that you are a generator as your type. If we're going to compare that to a different system, we can say maybe like December's Capricorn, or other astrological signs. Pisces means something different. While here in the human design realm, your type is that you are a generator. And that's all I want you to know. And there is a lot more information to know about this, but that's not what we're here to learn about today is being a generator. We're here to really learn what it's like for you specifically, how to say your yes and no. All right. Why is it two parts? because we're talking about your strategy and authority, right where my mouse button is. Strategy and authority. So this is your decision maker, your strategy and authority, and it doesn't matter if we're talking to you, Tyler, or if we're talking to anybody else that might be watching this. This is how you make your decisions, your strategy and authority. So because it's 2 words, that's why it's 2 parts. All right. Let's talk about strategy. Waiting to respond. So, waiting. What does that actually mean, though? Waiting so that you can respond. Well, like I said earlier, we've been conditioned to act a certain way in particular situations, and what we're doing is just waiting when something particular happens to see what our energy actually does versus what we were conditioned to do. I explained that extremely wrong. So, waiting isn't disengaging with life. Waiting isn't sitting around with your pooper. Waiting isn't sitting around with your thumb up your pooper. Waiting is just really stopping the conditioned behavior that society has deemed correct for us in a particular situation. So what you are also waiting for is, well, you're just stopping all of that energy and action that you put towards all of these thought processes that you think that you should, woulda, coulda, I have to do. So that's what you're waiting on. You're stopping that so that you can see what is correct for you. What is it that's coming at you in life? Because as a generator, with this beautiful sacral here, it pulls people, places, things, and experiences towards you in life. It's like a vortex. And it is from there that you should choose from what your energy said if you're going to engage or not. So, waiting to respond. So, we're waiting to disengage with all of the conditioned behavior that we've been taught, so that when the proper opportunities come around, we will be able to hear about it and listen to it. So, as an example, let's just say you and I are out for a walk, and there's a bear chasing you. Not me. There's a bear chasing you. And I keep up with you and I'm like, hey, I have this $1 million idea, but I need you to like do it now. And you're like, dude, can't you see that I'm fighting for my life here? I'm being chased by a bear. And that's what all of that conditioned behavior is that we're talking about, is the bear, all the distractions in life that are really keeping you from doing what you want to do when it actually pops up. It's like, oh, I'm distracted by this bear because it's chasing me, even though I really, really, really want to focus on this $1 million idea. So, waiting to respond allows those proper opportunities to come to you. It allows you to stop all that conditioned behavior and, well, responding. 70% of the world has this response, this guttural feeling or sound that comes from you. Or just like a baby when they're excited, they like something like, ooh, Or when a baby doesn't like something, they're like, eh. So it's talking about these really natural sounds that come out of you. Or maybe when you don't like something, you're like, ugh, and you can see the collapse in of your body, and you can hear the ugh in your, you know, your voice or the air in your throat there. So sometimes a person perks up when, you know, something's interesting. So you have this connection to your body, these sounds, just like a caveman. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. For yes. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Oh. Those are no's or maybes. So they're all no's. Or no for now. A lot of us are conditioned away from those sounds. I know when I grew up, my mom was like, say yes, say no, because saying yeah, nah isn't proper enough. So a lot of people lose touch with their gut feeling that they were gifted with. So we talked about strategy so far, and I talked about waiting to respond. So I've told you that you're kind of stopping that conditioned behavior, not disengaging with life, but disengaging with that conditioned behavior. You're still allowed to walk around in life and seeing if that's what you want to partake in, and if your body says, get out. So that's what we're talking about. Your body's going to have these grunts or groans or moans or whatever it might be, these oohs or ahs that will tell you, or these, you know, these physical drops when it's just not correct for you. So I invite you to start participating if that, oh, sorry. I invite you to start experimenting with that if you feel called to. Simple questions that can be answered yes and no. Do you like pizza, Tyler? Do you think this shit's weird, Tyler? Do you think it's interesting? Do you enjoy going swimming? Simple questions. What did you feel with those when I asked you those questions? This energy to energy. What did your body say? Do you feel disconnected from that? Yeah. Or All right. So we actually have more to talk about this response experience. You can't ask yourself a question, say, oh, hey, Tyler, I'm going to ask myself, hey, do you feel like going on $1 million trip? That doesn't work that way. That's our mind trying to play games with us. We're talking about those grunts and groans that come up in the moment. So what really you're responding to are these external conditioned factors or something that happens inside of you. So maybe somebody physically asks you, do you want to go to the store? And you're like already physically moving towards the door before your brain even says yes or no. Or we said that there could be like this internal cue. Maybe you gotta go pee. Go pee. You don't need somebody externally to say, yo, you look a little antsy there. What's going on? You got ants in your pants? No. Just go pee. You have responded to going pee. But here's an example. You're laying in bed and your eyes pop open because you were just sleeping. Why did they pop open? What did you respond to? Did your dog bark? Are you finished resting? Is your bladder full? Did your phone go off? What did you respond to? Why did your eyes pop open? So you're like, well, I'm awake now, and yeah, it was actually my bladder that woke me up. I responded to my bladder needing something done to it. We were talking about you laying in bed? Why did your eyes open? You know, you have to go pee. That was an internal cue. So you respond to getting out of bed. So you sit up and you pull off the blankets, because if you didn't, you'd fall out of bed, because you've learned over time, you know, that if you don't pull off the blankets, you'll just roll out of bed and fall. So, you flip over the blankets and you're like, ooh, it's kind of chilly. Ooh, it's kind of chilly. So you respond to putting on a sweater or your house coat, and you're like, actually, I feel a little pressure in my booty, so I'm actually going to grab my phone because I know I'm going to be there a while. So you respond to grabbing your phone before sitting on the body. So it's really this like moment by moment by moment experience. We're not looking into the future. We're not pre-planning. We're not over, I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. No. Internal cues and external environmental experiences. So for me, I'm a generator who responds, and I'm a person who enjoys psychic stuff, and there's a lot of psychic things out there, and of course I was like, ooh, ah. But just because I said, yeah, I want that, it doesn't mean that that was actually what was correct for me in the end. I let some time pass by, and truly, I was just caught in the moment of, you know, something frilly. I really didn't want it. And so it actually changed it. I really don't. No. So just because you said yes to something and you might have committed to it, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be yes. You might actually start to show some frustration. Your frustration is a key indicator that something needs to change. You don't necessarily need to quit something or start something. My boss got fired and my frustration went away. So I was more satisfied at work. So when you start a contract or you enter into a contract or a decision properly, your frustration is a key signpost that something needs to change. So I'm going to ask you, Tyler, where are you frustrated in life? Is there some places that popped into your head immediately? Okay, so that just means that those are places in your life that you should possibly take a look at. And what do you do? Well, let's go through your strategy and authority on how you work through those frustrations. Well, you got to the point of frustration, so there's no need to overplan, overwork. See what your body does over time, because you've responded, it's not for me anymore. So see what clarity you get over time, and that's actually what your authority is. Although it says emotional solar plexus, you're not an emotional person. You have quite the fixed way of expressing your emotions. So let's just get that elephant out of the room. So what does it mean to have your solar plexus as your authority? Well, that just means that you need to wait to get clarity. You need to be patient. What does that even mean? Well, if you're going to hop into something when you're super excited or super frustrated, that's really a terrible time to make commitments or to, you know, not do your commitment anymore. I'm sure sometimes when you've excitedly committed to something and you leave that situation, you're like, oh, frick, why did I just commit to that? It's because you're not meant to make instantaneous decisions, because there's just no truth in the now for you. And you're like, well, you just told me that my gut response exists. Yeah. Just because you said, I want to do it. Gain some clarity on that. Get some patience. At least overnight. At least. Now, clarity, making a decision without the nervousness involved is really what we're saying. So if you're still like, well, I don't know, not a good time to make a decision. Maybe you need to make a decision now, because you've been trying to gain clarity over time, but you need a decision now. Well, maybe door 1, 2, 3, and 4 are your opportunities, but door number 3 is the most clear to you. So door number 3 would be the one that you should choose. So clarity is really about getting to see the up wave and the down wave before you make a decision. That's what clarity is. So if you have this indecision, this nervousness, like, I don't, that's your body saying no. No for now. So, okay, let's actually mash those two together, strategy and authority. You are a person who is here to just wait to respond. We're not disengaging with life. You're allowed to go out and do things. You weren't looking for my permission anyways. But it's when you're out and doing those things, you're like, ooh, where you'll engage with life. And from there, is where you need to gain that clarity. Is that something that I will partake in? Is that something that I don't want to do? I don't know. And that's that. That is how you say your yes and no. Or I don't know. Gaining clarity around that. Or gaining clarity around that frustration that you might be experiencing. Like I said, just because you're frustrated doesn't mean you need to quit something or start something. I'm sure that when you've been frustrated or angry in the past, that you've slightly regretted or resented the decision that you made in the moment during that heated emotional experience. Patience. Patience. I know you hate that word. So that's actually number 2, complete. And I actually want to run into part number 3, the extras, the brain candy. And I want to run right into it based on what we were saying. If you choose to say yes, if your body says and you do it, you are going to allow your purpose to flow through you. If your body says or if you still have a nervousness towards it, like, I don't know, don't do it. And that is also allowing your purpose to flow through you. Now, once again, your purpose is that it's the incarnation cross. You are the right angle cross of service, 18, 17, 52, 58. You can Google that, but if you are going to, make sure to put in the right angle and the numbers at the end, because it's different. I'm actually the right angle cross of service, which is awesome, but you and I are on the opposite side of the dial, but that's deep information that I'm not going to touch on. But I think that's pretty cool that your friend brought you and I together, and we're actually a lot alike, more alike than you realize. So it's interesting that your friend is interested in my content too, and is interested in your friendship. So that's fun. I'm just going to say 2 more things, because there's literally 18 days of things that we could say, so we got to cut her off somewhere. But you are a triple split definition. You're like, what the F does that mean? Jargon-wise, broken down to Katie terms, it means that in another area in your chart, it's telling you that you're not an instantaneous being. There's no truth in the now for you. Your energy needs to speak to itself in 3 different compartments. So your head is separated away from your spleen and your root and your solar plexus. And then this part here is separated away from all of it. So all of these pieces that are separated away from each other, because you can't connect them all together with just, you know, bringing your pencil and coloring them all in. You can't. You have to lift your pencil. So just think about me explaining that to you, and think about all of your energy needing to process that and the time it needs to process your triple split energy. Because it just took me time just to explain what a triple split was. Imagine you needing to process that and gain clarity of what you need to gain clarity over. You need extra time. And for you, you ingest things at a slower pace and never harp yourself or let anybody harp you for that. Take your time. When people ask you to be invited into something, they recognize your juicy solar plexus and they want it. They love this juicy sacral that you got too, and they want it. So if they recognize you for that and you say, yo, I know you just offered me the job that I've wanted forever, but can you just give me the weekend to think about it? It's actually protecting you from what may happen. So, you know, let's just say it is the job of your dreams and your energy says, over the weekend you got clarity. Great, cool. But let's just say that it went the other way. Let's just say that, you know, if you didn't wait and you're like, yeah, this is a job of my lifetime that I've wanted forever, and you like accepted it on the spot and you've already given your notice at the current place that you're at, you gave your 2 weeks, started packing up your desk, told your colleagues, and then over the weekend, the people offering the job was like, actually, no. But you already gave your 2 weeks notice. So waiting actually protects you. And I know that's like the biggest, most extreme example that I can give you, because who wouldn't want to jump on the lifetime offer of the job that you've wanted forever? It's exciting. But I told you that making decisions in the moment, there's no truth in the now, instantaneous decisions with extreme emotions involved, it's just not a good time to make those decisions. Jobs, living areas, partners are that of the most that need the most clarity. You can't gain clarity of who you'll want to be with instantly. Same with the place you live, and same with your job. You're going to gain clarity over time if it's correct for you or not, and then you'll just do what you need to do at that point. But, you know, I invite you to experiment with every decision. All right, so give thanks to your friendo for commissioning this for you. My name is Katie Lynn, and this was a $50 US experience, and I hope you really did get to learn more about yourself. I'm just going to do a summary of what we learned today. Human design is the person's energetic blueprints, allowing them to understand how their particular energy works, how they choose their correct yes and no for them, ultimately allowing their purpose to flow through them. And you are a person who requires clarity after you've responded to something. What did you respond? I don't know. Your body's going to tell you what is correct for you or not. Your brain's going to try to trick you into the shoulda, woulda, couldas. So that's what we're talking about, waiting to respond. Not letting that brain trick you into all of those patterns that we're taught to do, except allow life to come at you and see what you respond to. If you think something's frilly, go out and see if you want it. And if you don't want it anymore, no, you don't have to commit anymore. Right? All right. Thank you so much for listening, Tyler. Thank you so much, Mythic, for purchasing this. You all have a great day. Mwah.